Masterclass in Changing Lives. Hello, 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 my friend. This is Clyde. Today, I invite you to join me in the observation deck. What am I talking about? Jesus is who we are going to learn. And the observation deck is the book of John. John is one of the four Gospels writers in the New Testament, but John is really different from the others. And let me be clear, the other three are strong contenders for outstanding writers. But John takes us behind the scenes from Galilee to Samaria to Jerusalem to Bethany and back to the shores of the Sea of Galilee. But it is what John gives us in the gospel that I want us to explore and see Jesus in different situations and settings. Almost each time we see Jesus in a different setting, he is about change. Jesus was and is a change agent, and he was not afraid to shake things up in order to bring about the change that he desired. I think that is what he wants us as Christians to do. In that case, come with me to Sychar, a little town with a communal well. This was one of the few times that we saw Jesus by himself, meaning the disciples had gone food hunting while Jesus, woefully exhausted, sat down near a well. Sychar was no fancy town, but soon after Jesus sat down, here comes a woman in the noonday sun to fetch water from a historical well. Ain't nobody told Jesus to speak only when you're spoken to, because Jesus politely asked this woman if she would give him a drink. Did you get that? Start a conversation around something common to you and the person you are starting the conversation with. He is sitting by the well. She comes with a water pot to fetch water. He is thirsty. The perfect setup. Meanwhile, she was an expert on men, so she raised the matter of ethnicity to avoid making this guy getting comfortable with her. In this case, the ethnicity issue could have been awkward, but Jesus is in control without being too pushy. He did not waste time to introduce God into the conversation. When you're having a conversation with a stranger, don't be shy and don't be afraid to introduce God or Jesus into the conversation. If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks for a drink, you would have asked him and he would have given you living water. By this time, he has her full attention, which works well for Jesus. She tells him the well is deep and asks where can she get this living water, because certainly this well, which has been here since our forefather Jacob, could not be the well you're talking about. So now this is an opportunity for Jesus to get closer to the point where he is taking her, to get her to believe in him as the Messiah. I'm amazed at each time he responds to what she says, that he draws her closer to meeting the real Jesus, not just a member of a large Jewish family. Jesus answered and said to her, "Whoever drinks of this water will thirst again, but whoever drinks of the water that I shall give him will never thirst. But the water that I shall give him will become in him a fountain of water springing up into everlasting life." John 4 and verse 13. When you are sharing Jesus, be willing to talk about anything that might spark curiosity, but make sure you can bring it home. This woman was beginning to sense something different about this man, and so she was now willing and ready to ask for the water that he is offering. She wanted the kind of water that he can give, but Jesus was not going to rush into giving her the living water, at least not yet. He realized that this woman has had a challenging life, so let's talk about it. "Go call your husband and come back." "I have no husband," she replied. Just then he chose to step into a space that she had created. This woman did not have a husband for real at that point, but she has had 5 husbands. And Jesus said, currently the man you are dating or sleeping with is someone else's husband. Are you uncomfortable to talk about sin without shaming the person? Be careful to have your information clear. Don't pass off as some wicked person who you want to throw the moral book at. Remember that all of us have sinned and come short of the glory of God, just like this woman. So she nervously replied, I know that Messiah is coming. When he comes, he will explain everything to us. She thought she had made a comeback at Christ, but now for the big reveal. I, the one speaking to you, I am the Messiah. Wow. It was then that she realized this is Jesus, the Messiah, the Savior of the world. She ran back to the town and invited the folks to come meet the Messiah. That day, things changed in the life of this woman and eventually in the town of Sychar. The woman brought many people back to where she left Jesus waiting. When the people came, they realized that the woman was in fact telling truth. What started off as a casual conversation that almost never was, turned into 2 days of evangelism in that town, and many people, Samaritans no less, gave their hearts to God. What am I getting at? As Christians, we can learn from Jesus to be willing to start a conversation with a stranger. It might not have such a happy ending like Jesus experienced, but please don't be shy in having that conversation with anyone, and find a way to introduce Jesus into the conversation. You will never know how it will turn out, but you would have been brave enough to pick a chat with someone, and a stranger no less. That is what Jesus wants us to be bold in doing. Be able to have a conversation, and not a one-sided one where you do all the talking. Jesus will help you if you're willing to take the first step in sharing him with someone. Thank you for joining the conversation today. If you like the message we just shared, hit the like button. You can also hit the share button and pass on this message to some friends, and then hit subscribe so that you will get the daily messages sent directly to you. We look forward to meeting tomorrow to continue this exciting series about Jesus.